What way to open the season if you're a Warriors fan? Golden State starts off with a statement win over the Lakers. And for a stretch in that third quarter, it felt like we were watching the dynasty version of the Warriors all over again. That signature ball movement, defensive intensity, and Steph Curry with that focused look, like he's already in mid-season form, had Chase center rocking. Everything clicked, and that stretch was vintage Golden State. But of course, no Warriors game is complete without a little chaos, right? That fourth quarter? Yeah, different story. The Lakers made a push, cut the lead down, and for a moment, you could feel the nerves settling in across the building. That's when Steve Kerr stepped in, called a timeout, and settled things down. Out of the timeout, the Warriors stretched the lead back to 10 points with about 3 or 4 minutes left. Exactly what you want from a veteran team. It's the kind of poise that separates real contenders from teams that just start hot. And man, we have to talk about Jimmy Butler. 16 for 16 from the free throw line. Let me say that again. 16 attempts, 16 makes. 31 points in total. That kind of performance shows not just skill, but complete control of the game. Calm under pressure, deliberate, never rushed. He managed the tempo, made smart reads, and provided the exact kind of leadership this team needs. When things start to get chaotic, when the game speeds up too much, he's the guy who slows it down, settles everyone, and finds the best option. There is even a little fun side, bet he mentioned, trying to finish the season with a better free throw percentage than number 30 on the team. That's right, Steph Curry. Now that's bold, but starting perfect from the line, he's already backing up. And Steph, as smooth as ever. 8 for 8 from the stripe, 23 points, doing what he does best, creating space, punishing defenders, and being the heartbeat of the offense. Jonathan Kaminga also deserves his flowers. Starting the game, playing 33 minutes, and putting up 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. More than the numbers, it was his demeanor that stood out. He looked confident, under control, and efficient. His jumper, which he's been working on all offseason, looked smooth and natural. You can tell he's been putting in the work and absorbing everything from the veterans around him, especially from Butler, who's taken him under his wing. If this is the version of Kaminga we get consistently, the ceiling for this team rises dramatically. But he healed, cold-blooded. He did what he always does, comes off the bench, hits threes, swings momentum. 17 points in 22 minutes. And it felt like every shot he took was at a key moment. That's the kind of bench scoring the Warriors will need if they're going to survive the grind of the regular season and beyond. And the energy off the bench? Well, Richard brought it. Now, statistically, he was a -11, but that doesn't tell the full story. He grabbed a key rebound late in the first half, put it back in for points, and just looked confident out there. For a rookie, that's huge. He played like a guy who knows he belongs. It's no wonder he got the game ball. That's not just about stats. It's about impact, hustle, and earning the respect of the locker room. Al Horford, making his debut in a Warriors jersey, brought exactly what you'd expect: poise, fundamentals, and physicality. 5 rebounds, 5 points, and a steady presence in the middle. His veteran leadership is going to be a big asset, especially when the Warriors go up against bigger lineups throughout the year. Now let's look at the numbers. The Lakers actually shot 54% from the field, which is solid. But turnovers? That's where the game shifted. They only had 1 more turnover than the Warriors, but their mistakes were more costly. Golden State made them pay. Forced passes, pressure defense, and timely traps disrupted their rhythm. From 3-point range, Golden State lit it up, 17 of 40. That's over 40%. And when this team is hitting from deep like that, they're nearly impossible to stop. It doesn't matter if they're getting outscored in the paint, because they more than make up for it with the perimeter game. 17 threes? That's 51 points just from long range. Compare that to the Lakers' 24 points from deep, and you start to see where the gap came from. Ball movement was on point, too. 29 assists as a team. That's classic Warriors basketball. Unselfish, fluid, and fast. Everyone touches the ball. Everyone contributes. It's not just Steph and Draymond doing the heavy lifting anymore. You've got Butler controlling pace, Kaminga attacking, Buddy spacing the floor, and GP2 bringing the energy. And speaking of GP2, couple of big dunks, constant hustle, and that signature defense. He does the little things that don't always show up in the box score, but are crucial to winning games. That kind of effort sets the tone for the whole team. Now, let's not pretend this was a full-strength Lakers squad. LeBron James didn't play. That changes the entire dynamic. But even without him, the Warriors showed that their depth, chemistry, and game plan are already ahead of schedule. Luka Doncic put up his usual big numbers, 43 points, but had a -8 on the floor. That's telling. He and Austin Reeves combined for 8 turnovers, and Golden State capitalized. The defensive schemes worked, double teams, traps, forcing bad passes. It wasn't just individual effort, it was system defense, and it worked for most of the game. Of course, the fourth quarter showed some cracks. The team let the Lakers creep back into it, and that's something they'll need to address. In a long season, maintaining intensity for 4 quarters is critical. But the way they responded late in the game, that's what matters. They didn't panic. They regrouped, hit shots, and closed strong. Now let's talk shot chart. At halftime, the game was tight. But Golden State started to take control in the second quarter and blew it open in the third. That's where they really won the game. The Lakers made their run, sure, but they never fully took momentum. The Warriors maintained control, even when the score got close. Fast break points were another difference maker. Golden State had 7 more. They pushed tempo when they had the chance and got easy buckets. Even when the size disadvantage showed up in the paint, the Lakers outscored them 62-36 inside. The Warriors made up for it with shooting and pace. This team isn't going to win with size. That's not their identity. They win with skill, shooting, and smarts. They go small, they rotate fast, and they beat you with execution. It's not always pretty, but when it works, it's beautiful basketball. Steve Kerr praised Jimmy Butler after the game, calling him a stabilizing force, someone who brings order to the natural chaos that comes with playing next to Steph and Draymond. He even compared Butler's impact to what Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston used to provide during the peak years. That calm in the storm is vital, and Butler delivered. He doesn't turn the ball over. He gets to the line. He manages the clock. He makes the right decisions. That's exactly what this team needs to balance out the high-risk, high-reward nature of their offense. And yes, Steph Curry closed the game with a dagger. That last shot? Cold. Signature Steph. No need for celebration. Just business as usual. Buddy Hield hit another big 3, and GP2 cleaned up the paint with a putback that felt like the exclamation point. We've seen it before, and now we're seeing it again. When this team is locked in, they're dangerous. The chemistry is building. The roles are getting clearer. The depth is starting to show. But hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Last season, they started 12-3, and we all know how that ended. Injuries, inconsistencies, and road struggles caught up with them. This year, the hope is that the added depth, especially with Butler and the improved Kaminga, gives them more room to absorb the bumps along the way. And as the season begins to take shape, one thing is already clear. This version of the Warriors is different, not just because of the new names or rotations, but because of the way the team carries itself. There's a sense of purpose, a balance between urgency and calm that wasn't always there last year. You can see it in how they manage the game, controlling the tempo, minimizing mistakes, and knowing when to push and when to settle. That doesn't just happen by accident. That's experience. That's chemistry. And that's the influence of veterans like Jimmy Butler and the ever-evolving leadership of Steph and Draymond. Now, about Draymond, he's still the emotional engine of the team, but even his role seems a little more measured. He had that huge 3 in the corner during the fourth quarter that helped stop the Lakers' run, and it wasn't just the shot itself, it was the timing. That moment could have gone sideways. The crowd was getting a little quiet. The momentum felt like it was shifting, but Draymond stepped into that shot with full confidence and buried it. That's the kind of swing play that not only settles the team, but also reminds everyone that he's still a threat. Still the guy who can flip the script in a matter of seconds. His connection with Butler is also something to watch. You can see the two communicating constantly on the floor, reading coverages together, switching on defense, and orchestrating the offense. It's like watching two different minds operating on the same frequency. When one is pushing, the other is anchoring. When one is initiating chaos, the other is controlling the aftermath. That balance is what gives this team a different edge. And then there's Curry, still the gravitational force that bends defenses in ways no other player can. Even when he doesn't have the ball, he's creating offense. The constant motion, the off-ball cuts, the handoffs, the screens, everything he does demands attention. And the best part? His teammates are learning how to play off that. You saw it multiple times in this game. Curry curling off a screen, drawing two defenders, then kicking it out to Hield or Kaminga or even GP2 for a clean look. That's not just good offense. That's Warriors basketball at its core. One underrated storyline coming out of this game is the bench depth. Last year, that was a massive concern. The team had to lean too heavily on its starters, and when the second unit came in, there was often a noticeable drop in intensity and cohesion. But this time around, there's something different. Guys know their roles. They're playing with confidence. And more importantly, they're producing. Well, Richard didn't put up massive numbers, but he gave meaningful minutes. He hustled, boxed out, and even though the plus-minus doesn't tell the full story, his presence was felt. Same goes for Buddy Hield. His shooting opens up the floor in a way that completely changes the second unit's identity. Instead of just trying to survive while the starters rest, they're now able to build leads. That's a massive shift in strategy, and it gives Steve Kerr a lot more flexibility in how he manages minutes throughout the game. He doesn't have to stagger lineups as drastically. He can trust the bench to hold their own, and sometimes even extend the lead. And while we're on the subject of lineups, the coaching decisions in this game were sharp. Kerr went small to start the third quarter, and it paid off immediately. The pace increased, the spacing got better, and the Lakers were caught off guard. Golden State went on a run, and just like that, the game tilted heavily in their favor. The kind of adaptability is what championship coaches do. They don't just stick to a plan, they adjust in real time, and the players responded. But it wasn't just offense. The defense, especially early on, was suffocating. The Warriors came out aggressive, switched everything, and made it incredibly difficult for the Lakers to run clean sets. Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic were both visibly frustrated. They were forced into tough shots, made uncomfortable decisions, and had to work for every point. Even when Luka started getting hot, it felt like he was doing it against a wall, fighting through physicality and double teams just to keep the game close. The team's overall defensive energy also showed in the hustle stats: deflections, contests, loose balls. Gary Payton, too, is a huge part of that. His instincts, his timing, and his commitment to getting stops are second to none. He might not be the biggest name on the roster, but his impact is massive. And on a team full of offensive firepower, having someone like GP2 who's willing to do the dirty work makes all the difference. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. In what is already being called one of the most provocative statements of the NBA season, Lakers head coach J.J. Redick has ignited a firestorm by openly criticizing the Golden State Warriors. The comments, made during a recent media session, have set the basketball world abuzz, leaving fans and analysts scrambling to decipher whether this is strategic mind games or genuine disdain. Redick didn't hold back. He questioned the Warriors' style of play, their defensive strategies, and even hinted at a lack of cohesion within the team. "I think they're riding the hype a little too hard," Redick reportedly said, with a sharpness that caught many off guard. While some see this as classic trash talk designed to motivate his own squad, others argue it could reflect deeper tensions brewing in the Western Conference. The Lakers have struggled with consistency this season, and Redick's bold words appear to be part of a broader attempt to assert authority and shift media narratives. Teammates have reportedly been split on the remarks, with some backing Redick's fearless honesty and others worried about the potential backlash from one of the league's most celebrated franchises. The Warriors, on their side, have yet to respond publicly, but insiders suggest that locker room conversations are heating up and Golden State veterans are unlikely to let the comments slide quietly. Social media has erupted with reactions ranging from shock to amusement. Memes are spreading, pundits are analyzing every syllable, and fans are already predicting an intense showdown the next time these teams meet. The timing of REDICK's remarks is also being scrutinized. With playoff implications looming, some analysts argue that stirring controversy now could be a calculated move to disrupt the Warriors' focus. Whatever the motivation, one thing is clear. J.J. Redick has once again made headlines, and the Lakers-Warriors rivalry seems poised to reach a new level of drama. Whether this tension translates to the court or remains in the realm of rumor, the NBA world will be watching closely, hungry for sparks in what promises to be a season full of surprises. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.